Hi, and welcome to another video in the Dementia Extras series. My book on dementia explores why caring is still playing catch-up with the rest of the services surrounding the modern-day packages available for people living with dementia, and the Parkinson's one speaks for itself. And the two books are both available on Amazon at $1.99 as an ebook and paperback at $3.99. All proceeds go to dementia charities. These videos are supplements and extensions to the dementia book. Now this time we're taking a second look at how to set about making your home environment as user-friendly as possible for your loved one. This part covers larger items, and I know you'll find it well worth exploring. Let's dip our fingers and toes into the water. The first item is admittedly a big ticket object, which can be a huge boost for someone of limited mobility. On your screen now you see a walk-in bath, which of course requires plumbing, possibly into existing facilities if you're replacing a conventional bath, plus electrics which control the glass door. The idea is that you enter the bath, close the door and turn on the taps. It's not possible to open the door again at the end of the bathing period until the water has just about finished draining. So, fear not, your loved one will not end up being swept away on a soapy tide and being discharged out into the corridor. The glass door is operated by an electrical button, which I point out with my little arrow. Here it comes. Note the additional grab rails I've set in place on either side of the bath and vertically on the wall by the window. This is a full-length lying down bath, but shorter sitting baths are available if space is at a premium. So do remember that the door will only open if there's an insignificant amount of water in the bath, so no fears about that. Promise, I tried, and I lived to tell the tale. Now for something quite different. We move across to the shower room. Another pricey item, I'm afraid, which is surprisingly useful in our shower room. It's a hands-free hot air dryer, which you simply switch on by pressing the round air-operated button on the right of the device, just there. It takes a little while to get going and has 3 levels of heat, but it's pleasant to use and easier than having to engage in a wrestling match with a slippery wet body in order to get your loved one nice and dry. So much for bathing and showering. Now let's go to bed. Now it's bedtime. Here is one of a number of different shapes and sizes of supports which enable your loved one to clamber into bed and also serve double duty because they help to prevent him or her from falling out of bed. This one is a pretty solid device which has those 2 legs which slide under the bed and can be screwed very firmly into place. If you're wanting to move the bed, by the way, it should slide merrily along a wooden floor, but it's best to remove it first if you're on a carpeted base. Check the various other options for bed supports. I found some of them that simply slipped under a mattress, for example, are pretty wobbly and not much use. You need something that's got a firm fix. I have screwed, for example, one of them into the wooden side of the bed, and that works pretty well. Now, moving to the bed itself, here's one with a remote control. This is one of those beds that sings and dances and does all kinds of things. There's a remote control to work its features. Here you can see on the left the basic operations. First, to raise and lower the head and foot ends of the bed at the same time. Secondly, to raise the head of the bed. And finally, ditto the feet of the bed. The other commands are pre-programmed maneuvers and massage options, which just made my teeth rattle. I don't see the point of them, but you may love them. Now then, a final thing about the bed. A pair of these little guys, which look rather like a large version of the pads medics stick on your chest to wake your heart up, and they can be very useful. They let your loved one grab one in each hand and use it to help them get up on the bed and then into a comfortable position. Simple, but very effective. Also, there are plastic and other blocks which can act as stepping stones or as a platform by the bedside, a step up which will also help your loved one get into the bed. Now, let us flush. Not for the faint-hearted, this one. This is one of those loos which does just about everything. Pretty well, so they tell me. The one annoying feature is the absence of a lid, which would either close off the view or just make the whole thing neater. Right, the arrow points first to the main control panel on the left, which allows you to customize just about every aspect of the spraying and drying experience. The next stop for the arrow is a sensor on the wall, again, which when you hover your hand over it, flushes the toilet. At which point, beware. You should rise up before using this sensor unless you actually want the full treatment from the toilet. It consists of a spray head. Follow the arrow. You can just about see a metal bar across there, and inside that are two heads as a spray head. First, which anoints the parts requiring cleansing with warm water. That then retreats to be followed by another little head which appears and gushes drying hot air all over, or should I say, all under. All this can be managed by the control panel. You'll see a bluish light on the wall. The toilet, that's letting you know, just there, just letting you know that there's plenty and to spare in the cleaning fluid reservoir. Red indicates all is not well. The manufacturer provides a plastic cover for demonstration purposes to show how the system works. It's essential in order to prevent the powerful water spray from shooting up into the air to a great height. But that's precisely what happened to the gentleman who was demonstrating the product to us, who got a free and rather forceful face wash for his pains. Unseemly giggles all round. That didn't help his plight. Now for some opening and closing of doors. This is a pricey item which I rather regret getting because my loved one, my wife, was too far advanced in her dementia to make proper use of it and to figure out how the controls worked. On the left-hand side there, you'll see the door, and above the door, an arm, and inside the strip on the left of that is a motor. The door is operated by the box above the door frame, as I've said, and it can be worked either with one of the press buttons, illustrated here, or by a handheld remote, which comes with the package. Other door options include sliding doors, but we didn't have the right amount of space in the right place for them. Alternatively, you could try a swing door like they have in restaurants or Wild West saloons. And finally, if there are no reasons to object to it or heat leaking out from one room to another, you could remove a door altogether. And that's the cheapest option of all. Now another big ticket item which I do not regret getting at all because it has turned out to be useful for me and my arthritic bones. This is a lift for moving between floors. It's not a stair lift, it's a lift. This one we had to get because the stairs were too narrow for a stair lift, and I've seen one operating with my mother, and I wasn't particularly impressed by the safety of it. If the person sitting on the chair sliding up and down is wriggling about or dropping things and so forth. Anyway, the motor operates off a normal 13 amp plug, and that and the various other computing gudgeons, they're sited above the door to the lift. On the left, if you look, you'll see that there's a big white rectangular panel. Inside that is all the motor and other mechanisms. Now, the problem with that for us was that the floor above was quite low ceilinged, and that meant that the cabin itself had to be fairly short. Note that when the lift isn't down, as you can see from the right-hand picture of the two, it just leaves two uprights behind, and is quite neat. And even sneaker is what happens upstairs. More of that in a moment. Before that, there were a couple of quick points to bear in mind. The up and down buttons inside the lift operate like a dead man's handle. In other words, you have to keep your finger pressed onto the button to keep the lift moving. Second point, keep children away from lifts. If there are young uns around, construct a small square fence with a gate round the lift. Leaving toy ride-on cars, etc., in the space where the lift will go can cause all kinds of bother, including jamming somebody inside the lift, as I discovered to my cost one day. Here we are upstairs. On the left-hand side, the lift is not there. You just have the two white uprights, and here a section of carpet with a white surround. The carpet sits on a metal tray. It's neat and quite safe to walk on, honest. And then on the right, what happens when the lift rises? As you can see, it's coming up. It pushes up that area of carpet with the metal plate as it emerges from the depths. The process goes into reverse when the lift descends to the ground floor. Now for electric scooters in the home. The piece of kit I'm going to show you, here it is ideal if you have a lot of wooden or laminated floors. The model turns in its own length and is very easy to maneuver. The one downside I found is that the controls, as you can see from the right, there are the controls with a rocker switch at the top for going forward and back and left and right, are oversensitive, so you should give your loved one and yourself plenty of time at an early phase in her illness or his illness to practice not banging knees against walls and jamming fingers in door frames. The remote sits on the arm, as you can see on the left-hand picky, either on the left arm or the right, depending upon which suits you. Keep the chair fully charged, as that will avoid the embarrassment of the machine dying when you're at the far end of the house. If, like us, you have a largest area of gravel outside, don't try to use it there, as the wheels are too small to maintain a grip on a pebbled surface. Of course, you could buy a manual lightweight wheelchair and let your loved one propel themselves by hand around their house. And the last object coming up here, please, if you will, on the left, is one of those recliner and riser chairs with the remote control sitting. We'll have a look at that in a moment. On the right-hand side is a manually operated sofa with a foot support coming out. You can either have them, as I've found, manually or electrically operated. If you have a look at the controls, they're very simple. The first one sets the chair upright so that it helps you to stand up and get out of it. The second one lays you out as flat as you require. And the third option is simply the on-off switch. Do take sensible precautions over placement and operation, as there are lots of moving parts which can pose a problem if you don't. Otherwise you might get stuff jammed inside. And that's that for this duet of videos about items that can help make the home more user-friendly. Just a reminder, all the stuff you acquire will be invaluable to you when you're left on your own and begin to grow old and creaky and realise that you too want and need to use some or all of them. Please hit the thumbs up sign if you like the videos. Please also hit the subscribe button and the bell to get information about further videos coming along. Click the links to see more videos in this series. Thank you for watching.